Welcome to the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasonry while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian.
And I'm Russ.
Russ?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. What do you feel about the color orange?
You know, I really like orange. I had an opportunity to wear orange a couple of years ago a lot. Didn't you?
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that. And then I said, you know what? I'll do it because I like you.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. How do you feel about orange vehicles?
You know, I don't have one myself.
Would you like one?
You know, it's always one of those things that you have to ponder a little bit.
So that's not a no. So I've been trapped on this before, and I tried to finagle out of it, and then I didn't really finagle out of it, but I'm out of it for now. But I might get.
Do you know how to do any mechanical work whatsoever?
Absolutely not. My hands are never dirty. Yeah. Never, ever.
Nor do I.
No, but we grew up on. Is it fair to say, where we grew up with dirty hands? We just decided we didn't want to do that anymore.
Correct.
Fair?
Yes.
So nice segue in. Yeah. So speaking of
the color orange,
our least favorite color, orange. Who's this dashing soul?
So today we have our brother Lynn Ungles. So Lynn, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
So let me ask you the question. Not going to hurt our feelings. Have you seen any of the podcasts?
Yes.
More than one.
Yes.
Fair.
Oh, right.
So, you know what you're about to... Normally, we never prep anybody ahead of time. But I made the mistake of sending the slides over. So, Lynn's going to be prepared. So, that might not work out for him. Or maybe it was a trap.
Yeah. We may just have to ask other questions.
So, as you know, Mr. Ungles, we start off the podcast. We like to know more about the man and not just the Mason. So forget Masonry. Who is Lynn Ungles, the man? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? All of that.
Born in Hutchinson, Kansas.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Okay.
Grace Hospital, no longer there.
Okay.
Grew up west of South Hutchinson on a farm.
Okay.
My dad farmed early on, but then went into teaching. So we followed him around his different teaching jobs, and he ended up being a principal then at Andale later. So I went to school at a little place called Valley Pride early on.
Okay.
And then he moved to Partridge, so we went to Partridge the last 4 years of grade school. And then South Hutchinson's high school is Nickerson, so I went to Nickerson High for 2 years. Then he moved to Andale as a principal, so I finished out my senior year there at Andale.
Okay.
Went 2 years Hutch-JUCO, finish out WSU.
Nice. So, career, what career did you embark in?
Okay, originally I was going to get into education. I was going to be a secondary education teacher with science.
Wouldn't he be a fun teacher? We know him.
I think so.
He would be great. Keep going. He'd be great.
He hated us as students, but...
Oh, he would have punched me right in the face. He'd have punched me right in the... He's wanted to do it a couple of years ago, but he'd have punched me in the face.
He'd have told us what to do and waiting on...
So
why are you telling us what to do?
always worked when I was going to college. And one of the jobs I got was in manufacturing. And it was out at Maize, Kansas. It was Field Queen at the time. And I enjoyed the work. And the guy that was the manager, I followed to a different place called the General Incorporated, made loader backhoes. I was a supervisor there, and I began to make more money than I could ever make in teaching.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the work, so I stayed in manufacturing. So I was in manufacturing clear through about 1988, and I was married to a woman at the time that was a Pizza Hut district manager. We moved to Oregon for a little over a year. And after about 9 years of putting up with her, I ended up being single again.
Would she say 9 years of putting up with you?
Well, she's deceased now, so she can't say anything.
Oh, she can't defend herself. That's a dirty move, Ungles. That's a dirty move.
Okay. So do you currently have a mate? Do you do?
Yes, I'm married again.
There we go.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm married again.
Tell us about Miss Lori, because we kind of like Miss Lori, but we had to pull it out of you. Pay attention, Lori. Yeah. You didn't just spout this off.
There may be a dress.
Well, we met actually at a bar that was owned by Lester Unrein,
Les Unrein, I love it.
fellow noble. He was having another grand opening for the Longhorn there on MacArthur Road.
Yeah.
And Andy Johnson dragged me in there, and Lori and I met. And actually, Lester was trying to set me up with another one of the wait staff there at the time to take to Central States. That would have been 1998 in Branson.
Okay.
And she wasn't interested, but Lori was. So Lori went to Branson with me before we got married.
Can we take two? We need two toasts. The first toast is to Les Unrein.
Yes.
What a great Mason. Second toast to Lady Lori.
For putting up with you. Yes.
Lori, we love to raise your blood pressure every time we see you, girl. And she is so fun. She's.
You tormented her just the other night.
I did. I really did because I love it so much. It makes my heart happy.
So now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this deal. So let's talk about your Masonic journey. So
When were you raised? Where'd you go?
Well, Andy Johnson, again, worked right beside my place of business at the time,
Okay.
which was Kansas Oklahoma Machine Tools at Industrial Sales. And we shared the same building. It was split in half. And we'd visit back and forth, and he had a Jeepster over there. And I kind of liked the looks of that Jeepster and kind of liked some of the things he was telling me. So at that point in time, we had an all-the-way in one-day class.
Yep.
And that looked very enticing to me because it fit my schedule. So I came through in 1997, all the way in one day.
Were you in that class with Sheldon Lawrence, probably?
Sheldon was before.
Were you the first class?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was first.
No.
So yeah, I became a Mason in 96. So 97 is just one of the next one-day classes. Yep.
I was actually
all the way in one day. So
in the summer too, which was a smaller class.
yeah,
But they had like 3 classes that year.
yeah. So you did Blue Lodge,
Yes.
Scottish Rite, and
Yes.
Shrine all in one day.
All in one day.
At the end of the day, was your brain just like mush?
Sure it
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
Yeah, sure it was.
But you made a comment at the time because you felt like I was just too busy to do it any other way.
Oh yeah.
Do you think if that wasn't available, do you think you'd be a Mason today?
Probably not.
So I said, Russ is all the way one day Mason. I'm a C2A.
Yeah.
And knowing what I know now, I would easily go back and do it however.
Right.
But before you get in, you don't know, right?
Correct.
And so it's up to your lodges and or Scottish Rite Center and or Shrine Center to get these people involved.
Yeah.
Fair?
Correct.
We're not getting all off on the one-day class. That's another episode. But as somebody who's all products of this, we're going to talk about what you ended up doing later. Nobody's banging with us in the lodge on degree work. So we've done some things, and I don't know if we're the exception, and I don't know that we're the anomaly, and I'm not really promoting anything one way or the other. I will tell you this, we have 3 people that came in at different times, all joining what we thought for the same reason because of time, but then found a love for the fraternity.
Yes.
Right.
All fair?
Correct.
Okay. I digress like I normally do. So now, you went to the Blue Lodge, Scottish Rite, and Shrine all in one day. Right. Now you're a Shriner. Push forward.
As a Shriner, I already had an idea I wanted to be part of the Motor Patrol that had the Jeepsters.
Okay.
But they had, at the time, what they call it, you went in and you looked at all the different units and clubs.
Yeah.
Club Midian.
Club Midian.
Yep.
Club Midian. So they had Club Midian, so I attended Club Midian a few times.
Did you buy a horse that night?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Is that a thing?
But they
Sort of a
also
fun story. Yeah.
they also had a little bit of Masonic education at that also.
Okay.
But I decided to go ahead and get a Jeepster, and so I came in July, and I got a Jeepster in November.
Whose Jeepster did you buy?
Ooh, great question.
Okay. I got to think whose it was because he's no longer around.
And it wasn't on the script either.
No.
See, that's what you get. That's what you. So was it Legris?
No. the guy that had it originally, he had a nickname, Six Pack to Go, and that's all I can think about right now.
Love it.
Because it was right on his dash, Six Pack to Go.
You'll put his name on there. And
I have 6-pack that's went.
But
I like it.
He worked at Cessna, and then he sold it to the guy that I just remember his name, Steve Holt. So I bought it from Steve Holt.
Okay.
Very good.
Do you still own the same one today?
Yes. Wow. Yeah. It is the only 51 in the unit. They had 48, 49, and 50s, and the leftover 50s when they shut down production were sold as 51s, and mine's a 51.
Okay.
So you have the new one.
I have one of the new ones.
I've got a 72-year-old car, and it's a new one.
It's the new one.
Oh my goodness! So you're in the motor patrol. You've been captain 8,000 times.
Several times.
Yeah.
So fast forward. Go up. Let's get into some of the sexy stuff,
Sexy stuff.
like potentate stuff. So who put you on the line
You talking about
as OG?
Yes.
nobody?
Talk through that story.
Okay. There was someone that dropped off the line that left an opening in the line.
He did.
Yeah. And that opening had some people that I felt like weren't quite as qualified as myself. I love them, but thought that Midian needed me there.
You got a call to service.
I did. And I decided to run for that position.
3 ran that year, right?
Was there 3 or 2? I don't remember.
I'm going to propose a toast. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Thanks for Russ and I. We're. I don't want you to agree out loud. Russ and I sometimes are difficult to manage. We're different personalities. We like to do what we like to do. We will come and help our friends. But we don't like to be told. Disciples, I feel like I'm in counseling. We don't like to be told what to do. We're not really super conforming.
Pretty much not, no.
But if the mission needs to get done, we will get the mission done. Just let us get the mission done. Right? Now, all of that said is this. If we saw a couple of turds trying to go into a spot, I don't know that one of us would have came in and tried to swoop and knock it out.
I think we might have. But
You think so?
Yeah.
You think we might have tried to convince one of them? Like, hey, we got it. We got to jump in here. Yeah. And one would go in and say, hey, I'm gonna tag you in 4 years. Is that how that's gonna work? See how I know how this works. I know what you just did.
No, we would do what's right.
Fair. So
most times
you tag in, you get elected, and you fast forward your potentate in what year?
21.
21. Now we're going to jump in and do what we do. So you've been a Mason for 25 years, over 25 years.
Yeah.
What's changed the most over that time?
The declining membership.
From quantity or quality?
Both.
Fair question, right?
Yeah.
And why is that?
It's a problem with society as much as anything, I think.
So expand upon that. What's your
We
thoughts?
quote something you say often on this podcast.
I bluntly have told you this in the past, but
Russ is a nonconformist, and Lynn has chewed his ass before on different things, and I hope it comes out.
young men today don't seem to have I don't know how to explain it with being nice, but they don't want to be involved with organizations like ours, and they don't have the wherewithal to really excel, I guess is the problem.
Fair.
They don't have any direction, I don't think.
Fair. So you've made a comment and we've used it on this podcast more than once. You said this when you became potentate, and you've used it in a couple of dialogues that you've had.
Good.
If more men were Masons, we'd have less problems in the world. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
And we use that often. It's the first time I've heard it, and the more I say it, the more I hear us say it, the more I believe it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, before it's like, yeah, I get it, makes sense. But now it's like, wait a minute. Because we talk about this. We would have never crossed paths in our personal lives. We just have to kind of do.
Right.
But the bond of Masons is just different. It's that weird unexplained stuff that everyone thinks we're cultish and all this crap that they throw out there. But I subscribe to what you said. It should be etched in stone somewhere. It should be in the archives forever. But I firmly believe, as Lynn Ungles would say, if more men were Masons, we'd have way less problems in this world.
We would.
And I 100% agree with you. We're kind of fanboying you a little bit, but it's so true. So
people need to be more vision oriented. And
imagine if they had a jewel for that.
They do have a jewel for that. But if people were more vision oriented and did something every day purposely toward that goal,
yeah, be deliberate.
Yeah.
Then life would be a lot better in the world. And they would be better people themselves.
So.
And I think that Masonry creates a situation for that to happen.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
There are other things out there that they can do to improve themselves and make themselves better.
Sure.
But you look at the...
Why recreate the wheel, though, right? It's there.
But you do one-day improvement classes, and then you leave, and you never break bad habits.
Think about seminars. You go to a seminar, and you're like, oh, my God, I'm so rejuvenated. But when you don't put it in practice, it's a problem. Right. So let's go to C2A.
Right.
You come in, you're motivated. The lodges now have to say, that's real cute. Now let's make it a habit.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Or the Scottish Rite or the Shrine. Great what you did.
Yeah.
So Russ was telling us earlier, when he's Grand Master, this is what he's going to do. He's going to do, don't interrupt. He's going to
project so often on this show.
He's going to do some sort of a C2A. It's not going to be free. It's going to be at a premium. This is my story for you.
Yes.
It's going to be at a premium. It's going to be...
This is the bird story.
It's going to be put together in such a way that people are going to be wowed. But then the lodges are going to have a charge to say, hey, we've done this part. You keep them here. And I might add to a story, there should almost be a penalty if they don't stay in after that too. I added that to your story that you were telling earlier that you never told. But that's my story.
You tire me out sometimes, you know that.
I'm going to hold on. I'm just going to tell you this. Speaking of tired out, I'm not going to go into detail. I've got 10 people.
That was sort of funny.
I got 10 people on my phone that after 9 o'clock, it'll ring. And nobody else, it's not ringing after 9 o'clock. So my phone goes off at midnight. I go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. On a Saturday, judge me if you will, it's fine. My phone goes off, I roll over, I look at it. Russ is coming in hot at me for something. He is coming in so hot, so...
I had a past Grandmaster coming hot with me, but we were still up.
That's fine. So I send a response back, and my immediate thought was, where are all those boys right now? I'm going to go say, I was so mad. I was about to throw some blows. I was so mad because he came in so hot at me. And by the way...
He is so sensitive.
No, I'm not sensitive.
Yeah.
I'm easily triggered. So, but the other person that was involved in that, you still haven't replied to my text message.
Just saying.
Anyway, back at you. So,
all right, let's get to the next question. Oh my God. So, if you were potentate again, what would you do differently besides not actually appointing us to? Besides that, what would you do differently?
I'm going to add another question now because you did that.
Well, there was an appointee that I would have changed if I'd have known better.
Good.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think overall, I thought you had a pretty good group. I think everyone knew the mission and they wanted to work hard for the shrine first and you second.
Yeah.
I think that we didn't want to let you down, although we did. That's just what we do. Just because
Every time we said, no, we're not doing that.
listen, we're not manageable. It's really not good. But so the fun. I don't know if it's funny. Russ, myself, and Bob Talbot, we did a combined position, and you know what? I'm glad we did it. Just worked.
We had fun.
Yeah, and I kind of tell the story somewhat. Lynn asked me to do this position. We're at an event somewhere. Asked me to do this position, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But if Heidi says yes, she'll do it. All right. So I don't know what I was thinking. In a moment of weakness, Heidi and I have always had this word we use that if somebody asks us to do something, I'm going to use this word, and you say no.
Isn't that called a safe word?
That's a safe word. Everyone's got a safe word. My safe word is way different than Russ's. Totally different conversation. So I call Heidi. Lynn's next to me. I deploy the safe word. And Heidi's like, well, sure. I'm like, mother of God, you didn't hear the safe word.
Woman.
And let me just tell you, the next day I have a postcard in the house. I feel like this was orchestrated because mail doesn't work that fast in Wichita. This was that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. But we had fun. I thought we had fun.
We had fun.
We had fun. It was.
I think he still likes us.
I do.
I think he still likes us. So liking and tolerating are different things. So that was you or me?
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We can just
what?
work.
So you did that, so I'm going to go this.
Okay.
You have any ambition to go on the Blue Lodge line at all? Is that your thing? Not really a thing?
Maybe when I get less shrine duties. Not right now, though. I have a lot of shrine duties.
You do. You do.
I think you would be a phenomenal.
Oh, he'd smoke the lodge.
Yeah.
You'd smoke the lodge.
Yeah. And I think a Masonic lodge needs leadership after the shrine.
That would be fun. You know what I'd like to see him paired up with? Dave Thomas. I'd like to see in those soft chairs. I'd like to see an Ungles Dave Thomas line in there somewhere in some format.
Yeah, I like
Dave
it.
Thomas will calling you out when Lynn goes on. You're on too.
Yep,
we like it.
Fantastic. So, let's just say that you are master of a Masonic lodge. Would you like an entire line of very...
This is a would you rather. You know my would you rathers.
Would you rather very proficient Masons or inspirational and motivational type
No
leaders?
hybrid. One or the other.
Either or.
Inspirational, motivated speakers and leaders.
Why?
Because you need to move people to action. You need to inspire people to do things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times those card holders don't do that.
You got some statistical anomalies in there, but yes. I agree. Like Bob Talbot, Del Morrow, great. Right. You know, I dare actually even Collins. Collins is a baby in the group. He's not unlimited, but they move some. They move some things, but we agree. And most worshipful Del Morrow, we shot him. That you'll see him later. He had one of the best responses ever. So we don't want to give that away because it was just an unbelievable response that he had, and it kind of gave us a little bit of pause. So, all right, living or dead. You've never had dinner with him before. Who would you want to have dinner with and why?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh.
Good one.
Yeah.
But why Teddy?
He's always inspired me.
Okay.
Like a man that gets shot and continues to give his speech. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
And to overcome his physical problems that he had as a youngster and go out west. It's just totally amazing to me.
Yeah.
Can I be politically correct when I say this? But that's a different sort of man in that time.
Exactly right.
Can I? We don't want to use the word that we want to use, but can we say that men We're just a little softer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude.
Society.
That he was hard.
That dude.
Society is a little softer.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Have you seen the picture where he has the sideburns all the way down?
No.
Oh my God. Yeah. When he was in university. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
For a fun wager, how will you grow your sideburns out into mutton chops? And let's have a sideburn contest?
No.
Okay. All right.
Move on.
So, since you've been a Shriner, you can't count yourself. What potentate do you think moved the needle the most, and why?
Well, I was inspired by several. The first one, of course, was Gary Dunn, because that's when I came in.
There.
And he was in the motor patrol.
Okay.
So I was inspired by him. But as far as moving a needle, and you need to say what the needle is. But,
No, see, you name the needle.
But membership-wise, I would say Souter.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. So I look at it from a different standpoint. So let's pull you out of the mix. I think Lonnie Nichols brought a lot of different kind of fundraising type stuff in. You know, I thought he moved the needle in a different way. You just don't appreciate that until later. You know, you could take tidbits of everyone. If Bart didn't raise the dues when he did, we would have had some real problems. Right? I think Ed Day even sparked some conversations. Even as much as it pissed people off, it sparked some conversations. You know, sometimes you have to shake it up, right? And it's just fascinating the different leadership styles that we've had, even since from you've been in, I've been in. It's just fascinating with the leadership styles. But Souter had really put membership as a required word in conversation. So I feel that way. So
of all the Masonic organizations that we currently are part of, which one's going to last the longest?
That question's easy.
It is.
I think so.
You think so? I think Blue Lodge will be here forever. I don't know how well attended it'll be. And I think Shriners will be here forever. I'm not sure that they'll have to be Masons to be Shriners.
That's fair.
I agree with both answers. I think unfortunately, as long as nobody's forced to make a choice, that's fine, you know, because I'm there forever. But I think, mark the clock, boys. 5 years, it won't be a prerequisite. How far am I off?
I think you're probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, the most important question of the podcast, dancing person. One must, and see, I leaked this out because you got yourself prepped and I'm so pissed over this thing. One must go forever. Up on the screen, you got Las Vegas, a Jeepster, Dale Carnegie. I know everyone wants to call him Carnegie, but it's Carnegie. It's Carnegie.
Yeah.
Or Riley. See? Yeah, we do our... One has to go forever. Who was it? Riley's his puppy. One of his three. One has to go forever, and why?
Well, Dale's already gone. He's been dead for
never,
a while.
never born.
Never
I know it's never existed. It was never a thing.
Vegas would have to go then.
But you have a place in Vegas.
That's fine.
I thought you might say that, but I didn't know where you were going to go. I know the old orange Jeepster and Riley's not going anywhere. I knew it was between the other side here.
Well, the almost 2 decades of Dale Carnegie instruction. Dale Carnegie played a hell of a role in my life. So
that's why we put that up there. Yeah. So here's the thing with Lynn before we close is this. Pretty soft-spoken guy, right? So if you go from quiet, you got Lynn, to Russ, to loudmouth Bird. And that's kind of the angle. But when you have to put on the show, so to speak, it's like a different dude.
Yes.
And you know what? So I see it, I appreciate it, and I understand it. I see why you wouldn't want to get rid of Dale. And I think that's helped you probably accomplish a lot of stuff in life. Forget just the shrine.
One of these sayings we always had in class is you don't take the class, you live it. It's a little bit like Freemasonry.
I like that.
Listen to that, folks. You're not going to take the one-day class.
You're going to live.
You're going to live it. That's going to be Russ's. That's going to be his challenge coin. So that's all we have, folks. Thanks for watching the Old Fashion Masonic Podcast. Lynn, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Cheers.